Oh boy, oh boy. This story is like if you took a Coen Brothers story and you mixed it with a
toilet.
This is what you would get. So if you don't know who this guy is, Matt Gaetz, Florida congressperson. How would I describe this guy? I mean, just look. We don't like to make fun of the way people look on this thing, on this channel. We don't do that. That gets this. Okay? But I will say, if the stupidity of America was in one face, okay, whatever, we're not going to do that. So this guy was born into a wealthy family in Florida. His dad was a state senator. He was pulled over for drunk driving and refused to take the test. Let's just go through some of the classic hits of this guy. Association with Charles C. Johnson. In January of 2018, Gaetz invited alt-right Holocaust denier Charles C. Johnson to attend Trump's State of the Union address. This is a sort of a recurring thing with this guy. Is this guy really like made his political career just like Trump is the best. Trump is the best guy. Anything he says is perfect. And then Trump gave him a bunch of shout outs at the rallies and stuff. And now this guy, he's got some of that trunk
Flushing toilets.
Magic. In March 2020, Gaetz wore a gas mask during a House debate on funds to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. Gaetz has claimed that wearing the gas mask was not an act of mockery, but a way of demonstrating his concern. So this doofus was wearing a gas mask to be like, yeah, right. Okay. On November 7th, Politico reported that Gaetz had tested positive for COVID-19. On December 4th, Gaetz attended an indoor New York Republicans Club conference in New Jersey during a period of surging COVID-19 cases throughout the state and the country. He was seen posting his photo in a crowd of unmasked attendees, prompting New Jersey Governor and New Jersey City Mayor Stephen Fulop to publicly condemn him. So he's an anti-masker. He hangs out with Holocaust deniers. What else we got for this guy? On January 7th, 2021, following the attack on the Capitol, Gaetz falsely said there was, quote, pretty compelling evidence from a facial recognition company showing that some of the people who breached the Capitol today were not Trump supporters. So this guy he loves Trump, anything for Trump. There's no other way to describe it. He's this. He's just like kind of like a public brat. Like that's how I would describe this guy, like a public brat. And if you read these stories about him, I'll put a link where there's like a profile on him. People in Florida were like, oh yeah, that's a big brat. If you're driving around, in your father's BMW and you're drunk driving and you get pulled over and you get taken in, you get arrested, maybe that should humble you a little bit. No, not this guy. He goes the other way. He goes this. He turns into more of that. That's this guy's decision. Okay, so that kind of catches you up with who this
toilet
is. This story, I gotta say, this is, oh boy, this is a spicy, crazy one. This guy is in a lot of trouble. Representative Matt Gaetz says teen sex allegation is part of extortion plot. So this guy is now under investigation for child sex trafficking. This guy, Matt Gaetz. Okay, so what I'm about to read here is just the beginning of the craziness of this story. Representative Matt Gaetz, this is from March 30th. Representative Matt Gaetz, Republican of Florida and a close ally of former President Donnie
flushing toilets
Trunk, is being investigated by the Justice Department over whether he had a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old and paid for her travel with him, according to 3 people briefed on the matter. Investigators are examining whether Mr. Gaetz violated federal sex trafficking laws. So then he went on this program. What's this guy's name? Tuck Carlman. Tuck Carlman. He goes on this guy's program to clear the air.
In major news outlets tonight about this story. We have no background on it all and not even any very informed questions. Instead, we've invited Congressman Gaetz on the show to respond to these stories.
Bad Barbie.
And give us his view of them. Congressman, thanks so much for coming on.
Bad Barbie.
So this is obviously a serious allegation. Tell us what the truth is.
Those are naughty thoughts.
It is a horrible allegation, and it is a lie. The New York Times is running a story that I have traveled with a 17-year-old woman, and that is verifiably false. People can look at my travel records and see that that is not the case. What is happening is an extortion of me and my family involving a former Department of Justice official. Attempted extortion of a member of Congress that they asked my dad to wear a wire, which he did with the former Department of Justice official.
Those are naughty thoughts!
I am demanding that the Department of Justice and the FBI release the audio recordings that were made under their supervision and at their direction, which will prove my innocence.
First of all, who is this Department of Justice former employee who's trying to extort the money from you, you say?
His name is David McGee. He was a top official in the leadership in the Northern District of Florida.
So if you watch that interview, there's a big part left out. And this is the part, when I started reading this, that made me go... So in order to understand the story, we need to back up a little bit to a guy named Joel Greenberg. Joel Greenberg. And I'll just read you this title from the Orlando Sentinel. Sex trafficking probe of Representative Matt Gaetz emerges from Joel Greenberg prosecution. Federal authorities are investigating potential sex trafficking violations by U.S. Representative Matt Gaetz, a probe that emerged from the prosecution of former Seminole County tax collector Joel Greenberg, according to a report from the New York Times. And if you look at this picture in this story, we got three dudes. Joel Greenberg, the guy who you'll learn more about in a second. Roger Stone, very attractive guy, very cool guy, Roger Stone. And then Matt Gaetz, this guy who's it seems like in big trouble also in the background. So this is important. Several former employees told the Orlando Sentinel that Greenberg often mentioned how he and Gaetz were close friends, and the congressman would often visit him at his Lake Mary home. Okay, so now we know that this guy Gaetz is connected to this guy, Joel Greenberg. So let's read about what happened to Joel Greenberg. Former Seminole County tax collector Joel Greenberg, who is at this man, Florida. Gee, what is going on, guys, over there? Who resigned on June 24th, the day after he was arrested at his home by federal agents, currently faces 14 federal charges, including allegations that he stalked a political opponent, illegally used a state database to create fake IDs, and sex trafficked a minor. Now this guy's in trouble with the feds for, among some other things that we'll talk about, sex trafficking a minor, and he's friends with this guy, and now that guy Gaetz is being investigated for sex trafficking. Much of this guy Joel Greenberg's tenure was embroiled in controversy. Months after taking office, he began allowing employees to carry guns, and then in December 2017, while wearing a tax collector badge, this guy's just like Nick Cage in Bad Lieutenant Port of Call, New Orleans. He's just like, this guy's just out of control, trying to get into the evidence area, trying to get into the locked off evidence case so he can get some cocaine or something. While wearing a tax collector badge that looked like a law enforcement shield, he pulled over and confronted a driver for speeding. So he pretended to be a cop and pulled somebody over. And that's not all. Remember, this is the guy who's connected to this guy, Matt Gaetz, this is why they're investigating Matt Gaetz, because of his connection with this guy. A 2019 Orlando Sentinel investigation revealed Greenberg had spent $3.5 million in consultant contracts, salaries to friends and associates, including giving a combined $644,000 to three of his groomsmen and another $677,000 to a campaign advisor. An audit released last December showed Greenberg wasted about $1 million in taxpayer funds, including buying body armor, weapons, ammunition, and a drone. I need that drone. Drones are cool. Yeah, but that's not, you're supposed to put that into like things that are going to benefit. No, I need to take pictures that are the camera's up and then looking down for my Instagram. I'm going to be a photography guy now. No, come on. That's supposed to go for schools and crap like that. No, drone. I mean, these criminal-minded people. I mean, these are the same right-wingers who are like, we support the police. If you don't do crimes, then you got no problem with the police. The police have to hit you in the head with a club and choke you and kill you because you were doing wrong. Meanwhile, Greenberg's legal troubles began last June when a raid of his home in Heathrow uncovered several fake IDs. He was also accused of using his access to an elected official to look up information about a minor victim in the Florida driver and vehicle information database known as David, including the victim's photo and driver identification number. Among the 14 federal charges Greenberg currently faces, he is also accused of stalking a political opponent who is a teacher by falsely accusing them of sexual misconduct with a student and of being a segregationist in favor of white supremacy. Greenberg allegedly used a fake Twitter and Facebook account to post the information and posed as concerned students in letters to the school where the victim works. Oh, brother. Wow. And Matt Gaetz is like, this is my friend. What are you, like a 17-year-old juvie hall kid or something? You lunatic, you idiot, you dummy. These are the same guys. If you're not doing anything wrong, then you wouldn't have been killed by the police. Meanwhile, just total criminals. These idiots. These saggy diped pants wetters. This is from Rolling Stone. What is clear is that Gaetz and Greenberg were acquainted, at least. Greenberg posted a photo of himself, Gaetz, and Trump ally Roger Stone to Twitter in July 2017. Very important date. Why? During the time period, prosecutors said Greenberg was recruiting the minor in question for sex. Now, of course, this is an ongoing investigation, and he'll have to go to trial and and due process and but this is not looking too good. Not looking too good. Let's get back to this Tuck interview for a second. The Tuck interview takes a weird turn. Here we go.
And you do see it a lot. Let's go back to the investigation. You say that it was or is underway. There was an investigation. What is the basis of that investigation? What is the allegation? That's really not very clear from these news stories.
Yeah, again, I only know what I've read in the New York Times. I can say that actually you and I went to dinner about 2 years ago. Your wife was there, and I brought a friend of mine. You'll remember her. And she was actually threatened by the FBI, told that if she wouldn't cop to the fact that somehow I was involved in some pay-for-play scheme, that she could face trouble. And so I do believe that there are people at the Department of Justice who are trying to smear me, providing for flights and hotel rooms for people that you're dating who are of legal age is not a crime. And I'm just troubled that the lack of any sort of legitimate investigation into me would then convert into this extortion attempt.
I don't remember the woman you're speaking of or the context at all, honestly. But I would like to know who. So they're saying there is
I have no idea what you're talking about. And who are you? I have no idea who you are. And
those are naughty thoughts.
I know I'm basically you, Matt Gaetz, but I don't know. I never heard of you. If this guy Matt Gaetz is innocent of this stuff, he is the worst at being innocent. Like, this is the worst innocence I've ever seen. Just like, Tucker, you know too. You're involved in this too, Tucker. And this guy was trying to extort me. Blah, 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 blah. Let's just watch that again.
I don't remember the woman you're speaking of or the context at all, honestly. But
honestly, I have no idea what's going on, and I have never seen you, and this is the first time I have talked to you. Hi, I don't want any part of going to jail. Hi, I'm Tucker Carlson. I disavow and I hereby cancel Matt Gaetz because I don't want to be implicated. So this is already getting weird. So to summarize what we just looked at, the feds busted a guy who was doing all kind of criminal Nick Cage in Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans crap. Also, he was doing some sex trafficking. And this guy was connected to that guy. That's why the feds are investigating our boy right here. But then he comes up on Tucker Carlson's show, and he's like, someone's extorting me. That's what this is. Someone's extorting me. Okay. How's that exactly?
First of all, who is this Department of Justice former employee who's trying to extort the money from you, you say?
His name is David McGee. He was a top official in the leadership in the Northern District of Florida as a prosecutor. He currently works at the Beggs and Lane law firm.
So there you go. He names a guy, David McGee. Tuck Carlson has this guy on, and he's like, this is not that I'm being investigated by the feds because of my clear connection during the time of this sex trafficking to this guy who was doing sex trafficking. And no, it's that there's an extortion thing, and it's this guy, and he names the guy David McGee. So okay, great. We have a third character in this
Toilet.
of a story, David McGee. Mr. McGee is he's a private lawyer now. Mr. McGee has an extraordinary range of experience in matters before federal courts, blah, 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 shut up. He has practiced law for more than 37 years. Prior to going into private practice, he served for 6 years as the first assistant at the United States Attorney's Office. And for 7 years as the lead attorney for a United States Department of Justice Organized Crime Task Force. All these news organizations rushed to interview this guy, and here are some of the quotes from him. The quotes, trying to get quotes from him on why is this guy Matt Gaetz? He's the face of American decline, Matt Gaetz. Here's the quote from the guy who Matt Gaetz is accusing, David McGee, of extorting. This is all just an extortion scheme. This is a blatant attempt to distract from the fact that Matt Gaetz is apparently about to be indicted for sex trafficking underage girls, McGee told the Daily Beast tonight. And I think this is from the Washington Post. McGee said he would welcome the release of a tape of his conversation with Gaetz' father. So Gaetz' father and this guy did have a conversation. He did go to this guy's office. If there is a tape, play the tape, McGee said. There is nothing on the tape that is untoward. It is a pleasant conversation of a dad concerned about his son and the trouble his son was in. Ooh, yikes.
Hi.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Fetch the bolt cutters.
Take the bolt cutters.
Uh-oh. The interesting thing about this, too, is there's a lot of speculation. Why is he on one of the biggest TV shows in the country, highest rated TV show in the country? God help us. Tucker Carlson, he goes on that thing to millions of people, and he accuses a guy of that this is just this sex trafficking thing is one big extortion from this guy. And I found a tweet here that summarizes what a lot of people are saying. So here it is. Here's how this works. 1, name David McGee as a blackmailer. 2, claim you can prove it, and the FBI and the Department of Justice have tapes and recordings. 3, demand release of the evidence. 4, claim a cover-up when no evidence can be produced because in reality, there is none. 5, get a job at Newsmax. Oh boy, what a crazy story. What a crazy story filled with lunatics. You know? Filled with just a bunch of
Toilet.
people.
Toilet.
People. These people are popping
Blue Chew.
and then they're jumping in the
Toilet.
So there you go, a lunatic, an out-of-control lunatic. It is like, this is a mentally ill guy, Matt Gaetz, and his friend. And I don't mean that in like, oh, I'm stigmatizing mental illness. No, he's like literally, this guy needs he needs some help. He needs help, this guy. He can't function. He can't function in the world like a normal human being. So this is a bizarre story, and I'll keep my stupid little beady eye on it. And in the meantime, I love you. This is sort of a downer of a story. Any story that involves sex trafficking, not exactly great for comedy. You know what I mean? Kind of hard to make jokes there. You know what I mean?
Only old people will die, and we don't really need to worry about that. What I want to do is Blue Chew.
Maybe that'll make it funnier. Just make fun of David Paxton. Well, guys, I love you very much, and I will see you tonight. If you're watching this on Wednesday or Monday, I will see you tonight at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Go to Discord. I'll put a link below. Blah, 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 blah.
Bye-bye.
Hey, everybody, and thanks so much for watching this video. Like all the other YouTube and podcast perverts, I now have a Patreon. Here you can get daily access to the audio-only feed. And every week on this Patreon, I'm uploading 2
exclusive
Patreon-exclusive shows. They're like real shows, more produced, more edited. One of them is a behind-the-scenes show where I reveal all the secrets and YouTube scams that I'm doing. And the other one, I just reveal my innermost dark, cringe secrets.
and at the top level,
You can even become a producer of the show and get your name handwritten, hand art, hand-drawn at the end of every episode. So if that's something that you are interested in, check it out.
on Patreon.
I'll put a link in the, what is the thing called? In the description, I guess. So thank you so much, even if you don't. Thanks for watching this video. I know it's hard to get through these things, but I appreciate you.
This show would be absolute garbage without the producers. Ass McBlast. E. Gregory Hutto. What? Scott, let me tell you something. No Castle. Rerun 64. Mr. Feeney. Jamie and I may have a disagreement with Sam Cedar's pause button. Jenny Hart. Hey, Jenny Hart, it's me. Oh, she just ignored me. Winter the Muscular. Ethan Weaver.
Vince Barbosa, he is pure ideology at its purest.
Crouching Tiger flushing toilets. Elias Christo. The guy from the hamburger train. Cece LeBlanc. Nez. Interlinks. Victor Sonny Duran. Kyle High Level.
Ideas.
Hopper. Albert Ellers Ood. Kitty Hooch. Hi, I'm Kitty Hooch. Abby, I don't want cowards teaching my kid green. Tristan Dominic Guzman. Jane Spade. Jessica, a lot of problems stepping off. King Friday. Laura Campbell. Rajawa. Nefatsu Gustav Van Betten. Camilla. Young Slampy. Brian Hernandez. CS. Hey, is that CS? I don't know. Oh wait, yeah, it is CS. Okay, great. Thugs and Kisses denigrates your dude. He's denigrating that dude. Blistered Thumb. Bree Gutierrez. Pixels Green. Pick Green. Old Man Shia. And our favorite name so far, Hard Farter. I hope you're okay, Hard Farter. That sounds
The muscular class.
like a problem, to be honest. And a very special thanks to Mr. Quarth, Micah G, Mike Mort Calypso, Roberto Vera. Who's that? What? Oh, it's Carl Hochmuth, or Hochmuth. I don't know, Carl, tell me how to say it. Love you! Terza. And don't cancel me for, I'm just reading a name, okay? Tardmaster. Annihilate. And special guest, Stabster Bait. Kevin Jigaleski. Oh, who's that? Oh, it's Mac. You know it's Mac. You can tell it's him. Krill Will. And we got D-Pad Chad. Burn Dubuel. Jake T. Sebastian Delgadillo. Charlotte Glass. CEO of the Muscular Class. Beth Van Diver.
I'm sorry about that, Beth. You know I love you.
Ray Anthony Cox. Eden Joy. Derek Stoker. Apollo Crow. Liz. Martin Lee. Chelsea G. Derek Jesus Christ Wilson. Matt Rowe. Thank you to these beautiful, gorgeous, muscular, soaked up, showering probably 10 to 11 times a day producers.